So you want to quit marijuana. Maybe you don't want to quit marijuana and you're just wondering why this guy is talking about quitting marijuana when you're just getting started. Well, I am here to help you to overcome your marijuana addiction. If you are a person who is not wanting to quit, then you might not want to stick around to hear what I have to say, but you might want to just to see the full picture and to look at the reality of your life situation from somebody who's been there before and who was there for a long time and didn't think that they would be there that long. I never thought I would do it as long as I did. Now it's been a good while since I have done it, and I'm not going back. That being said, I want to relate, and I just want to let you know that no matter who you are, there's always going to be that nostalgic feeling there, that when you see that thing or you smell that thing, it's going to remind you of some time in the past. And it might be a good memory, it might be a bad memory, but in a certain way, it's going to want to pull you back in, because that's the nature of these kinds of addictions. They have some kind of a feeling associated with them, or many things associated with them that were good things, and so it makes us tempted to go back to do those things. Now, I would say that, oh yeah, whatever, if you want to do it occasionally, that's okay, but I'm really not sure that that's going to be the way that you're going to actually be able to quit marijuana, because I used to have that perspective, and I had to really overcome that perspective. And the way that I was able to do that was to associate the things that I really knew to be true for me about marijuana, meaning the pain that was associated with it, to be the things that I don't want to have at all anymore. So when I get tempted, when I have this feeling like, oh, that might be fun to do again, then I revert back to, yeah, but that means this. And what that means is I'm going to feel those painful feelings again that I don't want to feel. And let me just put that in perspective for you. Have you ever felt when you were high like, wow, this is the best feeling in the world. I love this plant. This plant is so good. And especially for me, when I was eating it, I felt that way. Did you ever feel that way? Like, how could this be bad? This is so good. I have all of these great thoughts. Like, I feel relaxed. I'm smiling. There's all these things that you feel that are like maybe everything is amplified in the world, like colors, sounds, tastes. It just feels like you're really alive, and you think, I'm more alive than normal. And you even think, in a way, maybe I could sustain this feeling even outside of being high. Now that's where there's the lie. Part of the lie, just said that because it rhymed. But anyways, getting back to the point, I've felt that way, and that is what keeps you addicted, but not just that. There are other things like associations, so I'm going to get back to associations. But let's go back to the point of what I'm saying here again, that then you are not high anymore, and there's this other feeling, this feeling of like you remember something, and the memory is not the same anymore as what it was before. So my example of this is my kids, for example, or times that I was away in another country doing something fun and spending time with other people and having a good time, and then the memories are good. Even if there were hard times in the memories are good. They have something so positive for you, and they have a feeling with them, an associated feeling with those memories, especially, for example, if you have kids, memories of your kids and things you did with them. So all of a sudden, those memories are changed and distorted. You don't see them the same way. It's not like you forgot, but there's a feeling that's missing. It's like an empty kind of a feeling associated with the memory. Maybe you haven't felt that before. Maybe it's just me, but this is one of my biggest reasons for not using marijuana anymore, and I think it can be a powerful one for you if you have some positive memories and you look back and you did not feel the same way later again. Now, another good reason to not use marijuana is that when you're under the influence of marijuana, you tend to have especially if you're an addictive kind of person, you probably have these big ideas or these thoughts about great things and these things that you could do. But the reality is, those thoughts, those ideas, they're real. Like, you could make those things come to reality. But when you are in the now, like you feel when you are high, you think that you are manifesting things. You think that you can make things happen right away. What you're not considering is the energy that it takes to make those things happen. And the downside of being high is that when you get over the high, you're no longer feeling that level of energy that you felt when you had those thoughts. So now, even if you try to make those things that you thought were good ideas happen, you realize it's a struggle for you. And the thing is that the more that you do marijuana, the more that you get high, the more that you have big ideas, the more diluted your other ideas become, and then pretty soon you stop to really believe that you can do anything significant. It's more like you just see all these ideas, but nothing's really happening. And you can kind of get excited about things sometimes, maybe these ideas, but you don't have the energy that it takes to make them happen. Now, if you've been through this cycle several times like I was, then you really know this is a reality for some people and maybe for yourself. It's another good reason to not use marijuana. And you have to also look at your associations. Why are you addicted? It's a psychological addiction. So you are addicted to everything associated with it, including the friends and people that you're around that use it, and the things that you do while you're high. Those things, they seem like they are the thing that is fun, but really they are only fun to you if you use herb while you do it. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't be fun again, but it's going to change when you're not using that herb anymore, because you are no longer having that same feeling, and you might even find that the things that you think that you really like to do a lot, even if you do like them, maybe they wouldn't be the things that you'd be doing if you weren't using the herb. And that could be make it harder to quit, because maybe you go out and ride your bike, maybe you go hike, maybe you get out in nature, and that's when you use the herb. And that's great, but if you find that you're not satisfied with your life because really the going out in nature, what is really getting you out there is the herb, and you're maybe neglecting your life in ways that you know that you need to give it attention, then that's a way to see those things, to realize that you may be completely mastered by this herb. It's in control of you. You're not in control of it. And if you think that I'm full of it, or I'm like somebody who is anti-pot, then you should just really take a break from it yourself. The worst thing is when you do take a break from it and you go back to it, the contrast of your life. And as much as I hate to say it, I think that it really does make you a different person. Now, at the core level, you're still there, you're still the same person. But if you use it enough, you change, and that's what people notice from the outside. You change a lot. Some people would argue that you change for the better, but you also have to realize that maybe there's only so far that change can take you in a good way, and then from there, you're just changing, becoming somebody that the people around you who knew you before don't recognize as the same person anymore. Now, that being said, it's really, what I want to emphasize is that it does change you. There's a difference between how you behave when you're high and how you feel when you're high, and how you behave and how you feel when you're not high. And there are many, many aspects of your whole physical body and your mind and everything, how it's all connected, that change as a result of getting high. So that contrast, when you start going back and forth from one extreme to the other, quitting and starting, that's even harder than just being in it. But there's the sad reality at some point, if you really want to stop it, or even if your health has gone down because you're putting tar in your lungs, for example, that you want to quit and you wish that you had stopped sooner. Now, the good thing is that you can turn things around, and if you quit it, then you are going to be able to elevate yourself to a good level again, and things can change in ways that are good, in ways that you might not be able to imagine right now. And you can even feel things that you forgot about. Good feelings feelings of like a simple kind of a joy that's not related to something external, not related to something you can put in your body, but that comes from life itself. And that is a kind of a feeling that I think a lot of people are numbed from and miss when they are high a lot. So this is another thing that is going to be helpful for you to remember while you're going away from this. And also, health is like the greatest reward in life. Now, I'm not saying nobody, maybe there's somebody out there who has seizures or something and they benefit from having some marijuana and like their life is better for it. I would still only recommend that they have it in an edible form if that's them. But there are so many good things about life and health. Health, being sober, being able to feel yourself fully is an amazing, amazing feeling. And there is nothing really better than that. But you do feel alone sometimes in that feeling because so few people really are there the majority of the time. Now, am I saying you should never do anything that, I mean, should you not have caffeine? Should you not have this or that along with marijuana? No, I'm not saying that. But I am saying that an overall life of the hard word to say, sobriety, but you don't have to look at it that way. It's like a healthy life, a life where health is your focus, where you feel, and maybe God is your focus, but where health is the thing that you go for, that you want to feel. And it's sustainable, it's real, and you also have to master health. As you're going forward, it's not going to just all of a sudden feel good, and just quitting marijuana isn't going to all of a sudden make you feel great. Now that initial change, and if you know that you are really going to quit and you're going to go for it, then that feeling can carry you a long way, and it is a great feeling, and there are going to be things that change in a good way for you. But you will also realize that your problems aren't going to just go away as a result of quitting. Now you have to face the world from the perspective that your new perspective, and that's going to be there's going to be changes, and it's not necessarily going to be easy, but it can be good and can be fun. Even hardest part might be about other associations outside of the things you do while you're high, and that's your friends. But you might come to realize that even though you really like the people that you're getting high with, the only connection that you have to those people is marijuana. And some people would argue for marijuana, saying that that makes it a good thing. And believe me, I tried that for a long time, and I really do like the people that I was getting high with. But the thing that I found as a result of not getting high with those people anymore, that was, in some cases, with some people, the only thing that really kept us around each other. It doesn't mean that we don't like each other anymore. It just means that we don't share that thing in common anymore. That was what kind of bound us together. And that might be the thing that you have to realize the most, is that you're going to have to move on and actually really face the reality of the fact that that's kind of the biggest reason that you are around some people. And that might be a hard thing for you to face. It was for me, but now I know, you know what, I keep things in perspective. I still like those people. I still am in contact with some of those people sometimes, but it's a totally different type of a connection, and it's not as frequent because we're not sharing that thing anymore. Now, hopefully, your friends, people you're around, will make similar decisions to you if you really like them, and you will end up going down a path similar to each other if you really love those friendships, and you will be able to share other things with each other. And if that is the case, that's always a great thing. And of course, there's going to be those people that you have more in common with. And some people are going to be inspired by you quitting, and that's a good reason to think about quitting yourself. Finally, I just want to leave you and re-emphasize the main reason that I know that that quitting marijuana was good is you have to look at everybody and think, would you want all of the other people that you know that don't use marijuana, and specifically the people that you really like, that you think are great how they are, would you want them to start using marijuana? For me, the answer is no, and specifically for my kids, because I look at them, I see who they are, and I realize they are precious how they are. They have such a clarity, and they have so many good things about them, in this innocence and this joy. Would I want to take that away from them? The answer is no. So why would I want to take that away from myself or anybody else? Life is so much less complicated when you live it in a way where things are clear, when things don't get so flipped from one extreme to the other. And that's really what I'm talking about, is that no matter what a person says about marijuana, it does flip you from one extreme to the other, to really high to not high. And there is a consequence to that. Using that dopamine makes the dopamine levels that you normally have not high enough, or not as high when you're not high anymore. So you don't actually feel as good anymore when you're not high as you do when you're not getting high. So that takes a little while to balance itself out again as well. But life is good. It has a lot of things that are not easy about it, but in an overall sort of way, there are many good things, and there's a lot to look forward to, and there's a lot to have joy about. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it there. I hope this video helped you, and I'd love to hear your comments, questions, and thanks for watching.